Perfect. Thank you so
Yes, sir.
much.
Started. Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Nikesh Jain. I hope you can see my screen. There are details about the topic. What do I do here? And today's topic is pretty interesting. I mean, we all know that AI is changing everything actually, big ways. I've already done multiple sessions on various other topics, the impact of AI on other things. Today specifically, we'll talk about what's the impact or how HR can make use of AI, especially the generative AI. So topic is from data to decisions, role of AI in modern HR. So I'll just move to the next screen. What is the big shift in HR? So HR has been evolving for a while, and I've been working in industry for past 30 years. I worked in US for initial of my career, 7, 8 years. Saw the HR practices there. Saw then came back to India and saw it here. And I feel HR is a very strong function. Sometimes not so strategic, it is not involved in strategies and all that. And then I saw that it evolved over a period of time where from being a process driven HR, it is becoming more of an insight driven. So looking at the data, and this is I'm talking about the pre-AI era, these changes, and then from an administrative support, of course, which is the key aspect of any HR function, it is becoming more of a strategic partner. So the role of CHRO has evolved as a strategic role. So you will see a lot of HR BP roles, HR business partners who are helping business meet their top line and bottom line, right? So their HR is directly impacting on P&L. Now that has been happening, but the same time, there are a lot of silos where HR hasn't operated the way it could have to its potential. So here, and this is where the AI brings a huge opportunity for all of us. So all our insights were data driven. So data is there in abundance, but the decisions are still slow, sometimes not correct because the right data is not mixed together while making those decisions. So that's the gap I'm calling out. I'm just trying to set the uh, goal of this presentation. How do we solve this problem with AI? And just one more disclaimer. I've kept this presentation at a very high level, not getting into very specifics because how to solve a particular problem. I'm trying to keep it a very high level, but we can get into more specific. I'll definitely share some examples, but feel free to chime in as and when you think you have a use case. So this is the gap. The data exists, but decisions don't. Now, where is the data coming from? Now, this is just some 4 or 5 bullet points I called out. I'm pretty sure there are many more such, but this will give an idea. Like where do we have data? And if we have data with us, the decisions can be taken in a much better way, much quickly. And with AI, these decisions become more accurate because you are able to mix a lot of data together. Some example here, which I'm quoting, hiring data. We all have that. We hire people, job profiles, we roll out how much time does it take, how many interviews. uh, Hiring has a cost, right? An opportunity cost as well as explicit cost. So the hiring data is there. Then obviously we have performance data. When employee are working with us every year, every quarter, we do a lot of performance appraisals. The data get fed in into the system. That data is residing, so we are sitting on that data, which can help us take decisions. Engagement data, we do a lot of surveys, we do a lot of those kind of touch points with employees and try to get some engagement data. So that data is also sitting with us. Learning data, that's where my organization basically looks into. We are a workforce performance tool platform. Typically we call it LMS or LXP. So we do a lot of learning. So we have a lot of learning data. So that learning data is huge, and a lot of personalization and those kind of things can be done using that data with AI. And we will touch base on those things later. And of course, the final here, what I'm trying to talk about is attrition trends. So we have attrition data. Now, philosophically, no employees, this is my belief, no employees leaves on a particular day. That basically frustration or the reasons keeps building over a period of time. Employees gives a lot of signal in various forms, and then basically one day, when because those whatever hindrance were there, those are not taken care of, they decide to quit one fine day. So attrition trains are very important. That's why I'm calling it train, because it is getting built over a period of time. Now, apart from this, there are a lot of other data, but it gives you an example that we are sitting on a lot of data today which can help us take decisions. Now, obviously, the challenge would be like, if there's a too much of data, then you don't have clarity. And biggest hurdle here is that data sits in silos. And we'll talk about that problem also. Performance data is sitting in your PMS, hiring data is sitting in your recruitment tool, if you have one. Engagement data perhaps might sit into your sentiment analysis, which could be some other tool. So learning data obviously sits into your LMS. Uh, so that problem is there. The data is there. uh, Today, whatever we do, we sort of try to use Excel to make sense of that data. We try to marry two set of data to reach to some conclusion. But that first thing, the data is not available. All the data is not available to us when we want to do analysis. And then same time is too much of data, so analysis becomes slow, and hence the decision, right? So that's why I'm calling out too much of data, but not enough clarity. One more traditional HR limitation is here: reports. We all rely on reports. Whatever happened in last 6 months, a year, 5 years, we have reports of various kinds which are sitting there. But reports are always backward looking. Something happened in past, and we are seeing it now. So whatever we do, it's going to be reactive if you are just taking our decisions based on reports. So that's the traditional limitation. Decisions rely on gut and experience. We all know that. None of us have that magic band where we can say we can based on this data, I take this decision. It is all over gut feeling and the various experiences we have faced in past, right? And that's where subjectivity comes into play. Whenever we are relying on gut and experience, of course, the experience is important, but a lot of subjectivity comes into play when decisions are taken from that point of view. So I'm still calling it a limitation. Insights are fragmented across tool. We already touched upon this. Insights are there, data is there, insights are there because of that data, but they are fragmented across the tool. And sometimes a decision has to be taken when you have seen the entire pipeline of that data. Then only you can take the right decision. And that's why the actionability is low. So these are some traditional HR limitations. Now, here is the solution of some of the problems which we just talked about, and how does AI help us here. Now, the 3 bullet points I've called out. First thing, AI brings speed, and we'll go deep down in each one of them. The second is pattern recognition, and third is prediction. Now, speed, all the analysis you are doing, if you're sitting on data which is sitting, sometimes you have data which is running into millions of rows. For large organization, if you have a lot of data from different systems, if you try to analyze that data into typical tools like Excel and all that, it just doesn't work. It makes you very slow. But we all know that GPUs, where all the modern AI or the generative AI runs, they are really, really fast. We all have used ChatGPT or some other tools, and you can see that when you give them some data, how quickly they can turn around. And that's happening because they have this horsepower of GPUs. So suddenly, 1 gigabyte of data, if you give to an Excel or some system, it will take its own time. It will not do the job properly. But with AI and with the power of GPU, suddenly the speed of analyzing that data and getting insights from that has really, really improved. So first advantage AI brings is speed. And the reason I just told you, because AI is basically sitting on this horsepower. The second thing which I have seen with AI is pattern recognition, which are humanly not possible. And I'll give you some anecdotes here, maybe on this slide or somewhere else. Some of the examples which I have seen. I'm looking at I'll give pattern recognition. I'll give you an example right here, and you will appreciate this point. So I have customers. I have one customer who is selling this medical devices, and these medical devices are very complex. So for their salespeople, they have this PDF document for one medical device, which is talking about, it has a lot of pictures of the device, it has a lot of specifications. So that data is pretty much like a product brochure. Of course, when you read through that, you just can't, as a human, you just can't make a lot of sense out of it, because it has a lot of focal length and a lot of parameters like that. So we have a capability where you can create questions from that document through AI. So I was talking to that client, and we just fed in that document to generative AI through my model, and then it created about 10 questions for me. Now those 10 questions didn't look, when I read them, I said, where did it come from? Because when I read the document couple of times, I did not see those things. So I started getting deeper into that document. I was blown away that those questions which had MCQs, which it had created from that document, they were all correct. And humanly, it was impossible for me to create those questions after reading that document. If I wanted to throw a quiz to my sales guy whether he has understood that product or not, obviously I would ask him some questions. So to prepare those questions, I use generative AI, and it went really deep, and it recognized those patterns, and it called out it created those questions for me. Now, so the point I'm trying to make, AI is very powerful in analyzing that data, and especially when it analyzes that data, when it forms some patterns there, it can recognize patterns also. So now pattern recognition is very critical for your data analysis. Think about, like, employees. You have seen a pattern of people during attrition. There's a pattern. A pattern could be like, people are leaving after 3 months of appraisal, or people are leaving after an event. Now that's a pattern. Now you have never paid attention to that, although that pattern is sitting there in your system. The moment you give that data to AI, it will tell you exactly why, when, and why people are leaving, because it is able to recognize that pattern. So AI is very powerful in recognizing those patterns. So wherever you think, like, some pattern has to be recognized, give that data and ask, like, do you see any trend here? Do you see any pattern here? And AI will be able to tell you that, right? And obviously, next thing is uh, speed pattern recognition put together is ultimately result into predictions. So once you see a pattern, you will be able to predict somebody's quitting. Chances of somebody quitting in next 3 months is 80%, something like that. I'm just giving one example here. So it will be able to predict things, whether you will be able to meet your skill goals with the current learnings. It can predict whether you can do that or not. So this is what AI brings in: speed, pattern recognition, prediction. So these three things moves HR from reactive to proactive. We already touched upon that. No reports. You're feeding the data, and instead of seeing the reports, you are seeing patterns. So you can take you are being proactive. From descriptive to predictive, we just talked about it, because it can predict things. And manual, whatever work you're doing, this brings intelligent automation. So I'll take a pause here for a second. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me, or else I can continue to move. And of course, I'll leave about 15 minutes towards the end for the questions. I think we are just 15 minutes in the uh, presentation right now. So what AI really does, we already talked about this. I'll quickly just read out these: analyzes large data sets instantly. I think that's the most powerful part, and we all need to realize that it can deal of gigabytes of data within no time. So if you have data, don't worry about it. Give it to AI; it will do something with that. It can identify hidden patterns. We already talked about that. I give you an example also. So it is really good at identifying those hidden patterns, which as human, you and me will not be able to find out. It can predict futures. future outcomes based on the data, the previous data. It can predict and recommend. Most important. This is the most important one here on this slide. It can recommend actions. You know, these three things. Great. You know, what do I do next? It will tell you exactly what to do. So previously, reports would tell you what happened. Here, AI is telling us what should we do. So, for example, if it turns out that 15% of our employees can quit in next 3 months, and it will give you a reason, and it will give you recommendation. This is what you should do. You should set up a one-on-one, find out, go deep, what's happening, and then in some whatever are their pain points, correct them. So if not 15%, at least you will be able to save. You know, even if you can save 50% of those people based on this recommendation, that's a big win, right? So AI, from what happened to what should we do, taking actions. Now, here again, you know, as I said, I will keep it at very high level. Everybody has different use cases. I have just called out few examples, and these are from no means these are complete. They're the 20, 25 such examples, and I would love to hear from you. You know, after once we open this for discussion, what other use cases you see. So here I've just call out some key AI use cases. I think I should remove this word key. These are some use cases. Talent acquisition. Now, you know, this is the easiest one, actually, low hanging fruit, and there are a lot of tools which are already available now. You can create your job profile, by the way, through AI. So job creation of job profile, whenever you know, I had to create job profile, I would spend half a day just creating a job profile for a software engineer, architect. I'll try to put a lot of information there. Half a day's 4 hours are gone just to write down a good job profile. Not anymore. Just tell AI that create a job profile for this, give some inputs in plain English, and it will create you a nice job profile. You can tweak it very easily and publish it. Now, against the job profile, you know, the next thing we do, we get resumes, we do matching. That matching is done, the screening, the first level of screening is done by AI beautifully. So you don't have to look at every single resume. The resume comes in, give it to AI, against a particular job profile, it will do the screening and it will do the matching. And then AI has gone much more, much more ahead. You can conduct the first screening round on video calls, which are AI driven. In US, it has become almost like 100%. So the first screening call is always a robot, a video call, which feels like a human, by the way. So you just sit in front of a computer, start the call, and based on your resume, based on job profile, system will ask you questions, the video will ask you questions, you answer it, and based on your answer, the next question will come, and it will do the first screening, and then only, and perhaps the second screening also, then only a human will get involved. So talent acquisition, you know, AI has taken over that pipeline completely. So if you're not making use of that, you know, definitely you should do that. By the way, Opportune HR, our HRMS has a recruitment tool which is completely automated. So now whatever I'm talking about, we have already solved that problem. Employee engagement, that's another use case. You know, from time to time, uh, you know, you run sentiment analysis, you run surveys. So that data which comes in, you can use that data to do a lot of AI based analysis. And that analysis can happen. You can, once that analysis happens, you can ask questions. You know, it can give you answer based on locations. If your employee's location in employee located in multiple locations, you can ask questions like, you know, if employee in, let's say, Ahmedabad location, are they happy versus Bangalore? I used to have that problem, by the way. So I used to manage in my last job Ahmedabad office and Bangalore office, and whenever I traveled to Ahmedabad office, there used to be lot of issues like employee would share. Now, you know, here my approach used to be reactive because I'm going there, that's why people are sharing. But you know, if you run a sentiment analysis, you would come to know automatically. So for that also, Opportune HR has a tool which has automated that process. Performance insights is another thing. uh, we all do reviews, we all do performance, PMS, performance management. Some companies do quarterly, some companies do yearly. Over a period of time, the data is sitting. So this data can help you. AI can play a big role there. Uh, Performance management has to be done manually, of course, the way you are doing it now, automatically through the system. But the data is fed. The data has to be fed by managers. Data has to be fed by individuals about their performance. That if you are doing 360, then of course you are getting all the feedback. But after that, the insights can be taken from AI. So based on all the data which is fed in English, you can say this employee should be rated on uh, employee should be rated at scale 3. I mean at the point 3 out of a scale of 1 to 5. So he met expectation because you see all the data. Now typically when I used to do that, I managed a large team, so my managers would do that, and then so everybody has to go through that data manually. So that's something AI can help us in a big way. The other one actually is my favorite. This is close to my platform. So skill role job profile mapping. Now, typically this exercise, if you are maintaining a competency matrix or skill matrix, you have roles, so you want to map them, right? Which role requires what skills and all that, and that keeps evolving. Now, this exercise typically is done by HR consulting companies today, and they charge you heavily, close to 14 to 15 lakhs if you are a 1,000 people organization or 1,500 people organization. This exercise takes months, right? If done humanly. If I tell you this exercise can be done by AI, and it can give you 80 to 90% accurate results, you'll be surprised. But we have done that at a couple of companies. So job profiles can be created, as I told you, a skill matrix, and then the mapping can be done. And then with the data, same mapping can be skill competency matrix, competency mapping can be done to roles and employees as well. So the entire exercise is done. So organization which were not using skills at all, now they are skill savvy, just because AI enabled them to do this job very quickly. Workforce planning, this is again, there are a lot of tools which are already doing that. You have a new project coming in, you just feed in some data, and automatically system will figure out, based on the employee data which is sitting in the system, whether he fits into this role in this project or not. So those recommendation, those planning, the first cut can be done by AI very quickly for you. And then the last one is pretty straightforward. uh, you can have chat box. This is like pretty straightforward. Like you can put all your policy documents behind AI, and then people can ask how many leaves we have, and whatever typical kind of questions which people ask HR, those can be just give those can be exposed through this chat box and workflows, right? So again, just disclaimer, these are just few use cases which I've listed down. There are 20 other use cases which I have not listed down here. But the idea is like, after seeing this, you kind of get the view of possibilities, like what different things we can do through AI. So again, the key topic here, from data to decisions. So you had data, that data got converted to information, and that information got converted into insights because of AI. You are able to take decisions and outcome. This is basically the summary sort uh, of this whole AI thing, which will enable. So data to outcome. Now, most organizations stop at reports. We talked about that. You just see the reports. You try to find out some patterns from those reports, but AI pushes you towards decision and action. So I told you on the previous slide, AI can suggest you things like what you should do. ChatGPT, for example, every time you do something, ChatGPT tells you what to do next, something similar, right? So based on whatever analysis you are doing, you can ask those actions like, what should I do? And then AI will suggest, based on that data, AI will suggest those decisions and next set of actions to you. Of course, whether you want to take those things or not, that's up to you. That's where the human intelligence will come into play. But AI has given you some clues. And so far, my experience, I've been dealing with for past 3 years. So far, my experience, it has just improved. And next 5 years, I'm scared that it will improve further. So at times, it will take decisions far, far, far better than a typical human will take. So we become predictive. The HR, which was more of a reactive, it becomes predictive HR. Identify attrition risk early. We already talked about that. Forecast hiring needs. That's another thing it can do based on the kind of projects, based on, again, based on different parameters you feed into the system, it can do forecast of hiring needs. And there are different tools for this as well, right? Detect performance trends. Now, this we already talked about. You can ask, once you have fed all the data and your AI has seen the attrition data, it can look at the remaining employees, and you can ask questions like this: which employees are likely to leave in next 3 months? And it will flag some employees because they have given their data is sort of matching those patterns. And then of course you can take, if you get 20 such employees, you can pass on that information to managers. In fact, some good tools will have this data available to managers immediately, that I see there's a risk of this employee leaving, right? Those kind of things can be done. So again, we touched upon this prediction, but it can do recommendation as well. So it can suggest you some retention strategies, what to do, transfer these employees. If somebody is complaining about traffic and things like that, you can offer work from home for some time, because probably that employee is struggling with home responsibilities and work responsibilities. If some employee is complaining about certain things, and the data tells that he is not fit for that role, he or she is not fit for that role, you can just change the role. And maybe that employee will be better fit into those roles. So AI can recommend those things. It can give you development plans and all that. Again, these are like very few examples. It can do, based on the data fed, it can suggest you a lot of things. So AI tells you what to do next. I think that's the most important thing, in my opinion. It tells me what to do next. Now, I can keep talking to AI, and then you know I can build like in a pipeline, like if I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? So based on the same data, AI can predict things for me, and then I can take whatever is the most appropriate action for that particular insight. This I think everybody is talking about it. Personalization at scale. I keep giving an example of learning. So every role, every individual requires a different learning journey. Everybody learns differently, and that's where AI can help you. Yeah. So in my system, for example, we have done a lot of personalization based on your current skill, based on your tenure, based on some performance data. AI can curate a personalization learning journey for you. It can create, in fact, we have gone one step further. For example, uh, a particular, let's say, let me think about a good example. Let's say I'm a sales guy and I have a course on sales, nice course on sales, right? Negotiation skills. Now, the way I teach a guy who has 15 years of experience, and versus way I teach a guy who has just 3 years experience, has to be different. They cannot be fed same negotiation course, for example. So my course can change its face based on who is reading it. So it will try to give examples for a 5-year experienced guy, and it will give different example for a 15-year experienced guy. So those kind of personalization can be done in learning. Same thing can be done in other HR function, tailored employee experiences, role-based communication. So the course example I gave you, it's sort of an example of communication only, right?
Collective.
In sorry, somebody is saying something. No, I'll just sip some water. So the point is, one size fits all HR is obsolete, and we can provide personalized experience to everybody, and we don't have to do much for this, because if the data is sitting there, all we have to tell AI that provide personalized experiences. So AI will take decisions based on that individual role or aspirations and things like that. Now, this is my favorite. Whatever I talked about, imagine everything is available to your managers, right? Today, the one challenge I see that managers actually don't have any data. The HR tool is there, but managers get access to employee data in a meaningful way only during PMS when the performance is happening, or at the best, they have access to salary data. So they run into HR all the time. But imagine, like, if first thing the data, the employee data is available to managers, and then on top of that, AI layer is there. So they get real time insights about. So same questions, like, when the tool is telling me that somebody can quit in 3 months, that somebody belongs to a manager. So that manager needs to know that one of my employees may quit. So managers should have manager with the AI tools, with the data and a layer of AI available to managers. Managers have real time team insights on everything. They're learning data. So for example, I'll give you an example, and we see that with our clients often, like, so we have a very nice manager tool where managers can control the learning journey of their employees. They see skill gaps, they see the performance data, they can identify the gaps in the performance, they can identify the gaps in learning, and AI gives them actionable recommendation that Nikesh should be taken through negotiation training because he did not negotiate well in the last three deals, or Nikesh should be given uh, this course because his performance on that particular skill is not up to the mark. So system can take those actions, but and managers can also take those actions because the data is available to them and AI is recommending, right? So managers move from intuition to data backed leadership. So this I highly recommend. If, and one more aspect here, like, managers are seeing their team's data in silos. So I'm a manager who has just, let's say, 10 people, 20 people, but the organization is 1,000 people. Now managers data, in the sense, like, managers teams data can be compared with the org data. For example, there was a survey run, and then there were some red parameters, red flags for that employee, for that manager's team, because his 12 people filled up that survey in a very different way. They were not very happy and all that. Now, that when I look at that snapshot as a manager, I cannot make sense out of it because I don't know what is good or bad, because I don't have any bar right now. But when the same data is compared with organization, that everybody answered this question a certain way, but your team answered it this way, then I know that my team is looking for something different. I have a problem to handle. And then the data is presented to AI, then AI can recommend managers much better that the org is expecting this or going in this direction, and your team is sort of not catching up, or you have some problems. Now think about this in all aspects of HR. Survey is just one example, right? So first thing, providing data, making sure managers have access to their team data in all aspects is one key thing. Putting an AI layer on top of that, that makes managers very powerful in terms of being a good leader. Business impact: faster decision making, improved productivity, reduce attrition, better hiring outcomes, higher employee engagement, and plus many other things. If done properly, these are the some business outcome. The most important, you are taking decisions, correct decisions, and you are taking it quickly, right? So these are the some benefits of this. Some of the challenges which I want to call out here is obviously data quality issues. Uh, Garbage in is garbage out, and AI is no different. If you feed bad data to AI, it will give you bad results, bad prediction. So you have to make sure that uh, you're cleaning your data. So when I say cleaning, it's not like, there are some odd use cases need to be removed. So typically when we feed data to AI, let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say, everybody is following a salary example. Everybody is following a particular band, but there's one employee, we ended up hiring him because of some weird reasons, and his salary is really out of band. So if you want some salary predictions, salary suggestions, if you give that odd man out data also to AI, you will get similar kind of results. So perhaps, if I am feeding the data, I would remove that one exception from my data. So data quality issues is that you should remove some employee who are really frustrated for known reasons to us. He has given you one poor rating on every single aspect of that survey. If you feed that data, again, that's a bad data fed in. So you need to make sure you remove that data, and you can take help from AI also. So you can just give entire data to AI and say, just filter out, call out the bad data, and then I will take a decision whether this data should go in or not. So data quality is one thing you need to take care of. Change management, that's the biggest problem. That's a human mind problem. uh, we all are resistant to change. I mean, that's human nature. No two ways about it. So we need to be ready to this change. And this one problem, again, this is my personal opinion. Whenever a big shift like this comes, as humans, I think, right now I'm seeing a lot of resistance. I'll take an example from L&D world. The content creation, it's a huge industry in US. you know Creating those content typically done by instructional designers. In India also we have that, of course, but US, it's very expensive. So what's happening already in US, the companies are basically taking help from AI to create content. You can give a prompt and content will get created for you these days, right? So these instructional designers, of course, their work is in danger. They are not getting the projects, or they have to reduce the price and all that. So I'm part of certain groups there in US, and I'm very those groups are very active. So past year or so, they just kept laughing that it is not going to change. We will, as a human, will always create data which is required, learning data which is meaningful and all that. So they were in the mode of denial. And these days, like, I interact with them, and now they've started learning those tools. I'm seeing workshops being done by the very same guys, who are saying, AI will not be able to create data ever, the kind of data we need. And the same guys are basically jumping on those tools now. So that's the change management. That's the human mind. It takes a while for us to accept that these kind of big changes coming our way. The earlier we adopt to it, better for us. And AI is not going to replace anybody. If we start using those tools, then we are good. If we don't, then of course, we have a problem. Because if you don't adopt, if your competition adopts it and they are taking better decisions, they are hiring quickly, they are doing better projects, they are releasing better products, they will win the game. Ethical concern, I'll just leave it. I mean, AI is also at times biased. It may not be transparent. So AI has own issues, but we all know about that. The funny example, recently, one of the bot, it was some instruction was given to it, and instead of following that instruction, it started creating bitcoins for itself. It wanted to become rich. AI had those kind of challenges, and they will there. Adoption resistance is same thing as change management. I mean, they both go hand in hand. So whenever there's a change, the resistance will be there. I think we need to be open to that change, and then only we can adopt this AI. So AI success will depend on technology, plus most important is mindset shift. So we all need to adopt that technology, then only it will work for us. The future of AR, HR, HR becomes a decision intelligence function. AI becomes a co-pilot for HR. AI becomes the co-pilot for HR leaders, and I love this one actually. Use these tools as your co-pilot. If your company already has tools which have already incorporated AI into it, use those tools as your co-pilot. Just keep talking to them, and those tools can work on the data. I'll give you a simple example. My team, I'll just unshare for a second, and just to make this interaction more meaningful, I think the example would be the best. My team just sent me a snapshot, which I'll try to show it to you here. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to download just to make a point here. Just one second, I'm still downloading. I should have done that, but this thought came to me just now that I should show you the Copilot, how it can help you. So I'm downloading the picture, or I can, yeah, I think I've downloaded it, and I'll show it to you. Give me one second, please. So I'm sharing my screen again just to show you the snapshot which I have. So this is a dashboard in my system. This is an employee dashboard. So this is a learning system. Mine is Edurigo is a learning platform, workforce performance platform. So as a manager, I can see how many total users I have, how many are role ready out of that. What is my accuracy level? My people have done the learning. What is their accuracy level? And you see this Copilot here. So everywhere where you can. So as a manager, I can just click this button, and it will go deeper into this. It will on the next screen, it will tell that manager that what are the learning problems, like his accuracy, his managers, this 14 people accuracy score is 52.72, but this information is great. At least that manager knows, and he can compare that with the org level, because somewhere the org level is also displayed, so he can compare. But what do I do with this information? That's where I click this button, and it will tell me exactly what to do. These three people, their accuracy on this particular skill is very low. You need to do something about that. And then this data will get fed back to my TNI, for example, right? And this here you see another button here. So for entire dashboard, we have built a assistance, and then I can just click it, and then I can just keep talking to it as a manager, and it will tell me what skills I should be working on. And then AI will just keep telling me information, and it is not doing anything great. What the co-pilot is basically, whatever data was already there, the learning data, the skill data, which is already there in the system, this AI is just using that data and helping me out with the decisions, recommendations. So I just wanted to give you that example. I've unshared for a second. I'll share back again, and I think we are almost there. I'll open it for questions and feedback. So just one second, please. Yeah, HR becomes decision intelligence function. So as an HR, so whatever that manager was able to do, by the way, same thing is available to you also as an HR on your HR tool. And think about it, like, you can just keep talking to on a particular widget. You will see a co-pilot, and then you can just use that co-pilot to tell you something, right? So AI becomes a co-pilot for HR leaders. So focus shifts to outcomes, capabilities, business impact. So instead of doing just administrative work, our focus has gone to outcomes. Whether are we able to reduce attrition rate? Are we able to hire quickly? So let's say, if I'm able to hire a one person, the lead time is 3 months. Am I able to reduce it to 45 days, 40 days, right? Capabilities. Do we have these capabilities? So if you are getting, you're seeing that business requires certain capabilities. We need to produce 1 lakh ton of material. So do we have those capabilities or not? So HR is basically helping in business, and that's why it is becoming a strategic function, right? So AI won't replace HR, but HR leaders who use AI will replace those who don't. Now that's, I already talked about this. Like, people who don't adopt AI, they are vulnerable in my mind. So that's where I will just leave it. I will open it for questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. We have about 12 more minutes, and I'm open to questions, feedback. If you have any anecdote to share, I would love to hear. Go ahead. Anybody? I hope everybody is there. Any feedback? Was it useful, folks? Did I suck? I'm I'm open to all kind of feedback. Did you like the presentation, or it was very high level? You already knew it. It was waste of your time. Whatever it is, please go ahead and share some feedback. I'll appreciate it. Dhaval, any
Yeah,
feedback from
hi.
your end? Hi.
So, yeah, it was definitely, enlightening for us, in the sense that where all we can use it, because this is something new, which is, we are adapting to it gradually. And, of course, a few use cases which you shared, those were also quite insightful. So how we can, practically use this in our day to day is something maybe we'll look at, connecting with Opportune, and maybe then look at, the options available to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please do talk to Opportune team. And sorry, I forgot to turn on my video earlier. I did not realize it. I'm realizing it just now. I usually turn on my video. So that will definitely, my opinion or my personal suggestion. Uh, Without AI, no HR can function effectively because others will use it. And I'm seeing a lot of organizations are already adopting that very quickly. And it will go a long way if you start using that data. The change will be you don't have to jump on everything in one shot. Get your comfort level, start with something, whichever is the most important, and then take it forward. Like hiring is the easiest one. As I said, a lot of manual effort goes in there. So that's something the tools have become very powerful, and they can help you in big way in terms of the initial screening, matching of the resumes to job profile and things like that. Typically, my observation when I used to do a lot of hiring in my previous organization, that used to take a lot of time, the screening part. Sometimes I used to do screening because the recruiter will just send me the profile, set of profiles, and I will have to look at every single resume to match against the job profile and then say, yeah, arrange, set up this interview. Those things are waste of time, right? So AI can do that very easily. Anything English, AI is really, really good at that.
Yeah, so these specific tools, what you're talking of, we'll have to, look at various such tools. Like, we'll have to evaluate them and maybe then decide.
Absolutely.
Okay, right.
Absolutely, absolutely. But knowing that these sort of tools are available, and if you trust me, I'm telling you their accuracy is very high. So these definitely, because I've seen a lot of data in various reports, that these tools are really good at screening. I have two daughters. One actually they work in US, and the US one of my daughters, she just graduated. I mean, she's graduating next month, so she has gone through a lot of job interviews, and she was telling me like, she talked to a human only after 3 rounds. I
Oh,
was surprised. Seriously, I was surprised. So, US basically, they've totally, because manpower is expensive there, right?
yes,
So in
yes,
US,
absolutely.
in India, definitely things are different. So Dhaval, I totally agree. We have manpower available at times, which is not a very expensive. But of course, at some point of time, it's just not manpower. It is the speed and accuracy also. And if we all feel that those tools will give us accurate results, then why not? So I was surprised then when my daughter told me that her third round was also with a robot. And these are like, the way I'm talking right now. She sat in a front of a computer and then talked to that person, and she did not feel that it was. In fact, she said I felt more comfortable. I don't know
Ah,
why. So this is young generation also which prefers it that way.
yeah.
So
So just one aspect, like from the cost effectiveness point of view, I mean, where do we stand today in India? I mean, of course, the scenario with US and India naturally would be, two different things,
okay.
in terms
No,
of, the resources available for us to maybe consider this as a cost to the company.
sure. No, I think the cost has come down drastically, Dhaval. I don't know if you know about Sarvam AI. Have you heard that? Have you heard
No,
their name? Sarvam
no.
AI. This is India's first model in a true way.
Okay.
Sarvam AI. So PM Modi promoted this recently very much, and it was all over on LinkedIn. Uh, so so we use Sarvam AI for certain things. So regional languages, for example, I have English document. Let's say your policy document, it is in English, and
Hmm.
your office is there in Maharashtra, Punjab. So you need
Correct.
to translate that, right? So typically in
Absolutely.
past, what we have done, we would just give it to a translator who would take its own sweet time. Now, with Sarvam AI kind of things, this translation have become one click, and the
Oh,
price is very low.
okay.
You can check their website. The
Yeah,
price is very
certainly.
low.
Certainly.
And then, so all the tools basically. So I need a lot of my clients say, Nikesh, we have this course in English. We want to try. But I have people in various regions, so I want to convert that in Marathi, Kannada. Now, previously, this exercise will take converting a course to 9 languages. It would take at least a month, if not less.
Yeah, yeah.
Today, you won't believe, with a click of a button in 10 minutes, the translation with audio will be in your
Oh,
hand. And the
wow.
cost is not there. I mean, it is cheap.
Right.
So those kind of benefits are there. Translations can be done. Uh, summarization, like for example, your policy documents. Nobody wants to go through a 50-page document, right? But that
Yeah,
50-page document is sitting, has a lot of information, important information, like gifting policy. In my
yeah,
previous company, gifting policy, I cannot take anything more than $100 without HR's permission. Now, if I don't go through that policy, I will not know that. Now, 50-page policy, somewhere it is buried. I will not know. So, if I give that document to AI, it will just bubble up those important information for me within a second. And I know, okay, I cannot take anything above $100 as a gift, or
yeah.
give anybody $100 as a gift. So those kind of things. So, AI has definitely uh, eased out a lot of things. And cost wise, again, just to touch base on your question again, cost has come down drastically, and it will continue to come down. See, ChatGPT, for example, 399 per
Mm.
month. The same cost in US is probably tenfold if you convert
Oh,
in dollar. So in
mm.
India, definitely they have launched a plan which they know that it
Suitable to
will
the
work.
Indian pockets.
Exactly, because we all know, PPP factor plays everywhere.
Yes.
So, Indian prices are definitely Indian prices. So from that point of view, costs have come down, and I feel like when it matures more, it will come down further.
So, so far as use case is concerned, let me share, like, in our organization, of course, we did like an experiment and then on a small scale, and we used to set up KRA,
Okay,
and then we took help of AI, and
okay,
we put the job description, the, various skill sets required, and, we post this to AI that now you give us what should be the KRAs. And
hmm,
as you rightly said, that it was much more accurate in the sense, if it was a sales function, it used to give clearly targets. If it
yep,
is, say, for example, a research function, then it will give the output based on, what kind of research reports, what is it that you will be using for those research, and I mean, it was really, a much more 360 degrees view as compared to what we would do as a human being.
absolutely,
Looking at one role, we would focus only on a certain aspect. So
yeah,
that is how we have used it,
yeah.
and it's been quite helpful to us.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. And see, Dhaval, one more thing happens if you think about it. Human fatigue comes into play at times.
Yes.
Like if I'm doing same thing again and again, I get
Yeah.
bored,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
the
Yes.
fatigue will. So with computers, I mean, that fatigue is not there. They will
True.
just look at data, and that's where they are more accurate. So I think humans are definitely more intelligent, but that the fatigue comes into the play, and that's why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my experience is same. For 3 years, I've been using this, and we are generating code. So think about it, right? you
Oh.
know we just give a prompt and the entire code gets generated, so I don't need engineers anymore.
Yeah.
So of course it is not perfect, so I tell people that don't trust blindly. Of course, have a second pair of eyes. Even if the accuracy level is 90%, that 90% work is done
Yes.
for
It
all of
saves a lot of
us.
time.
Exactly,
Saves a lot of
exactly.
time.
Yeah. Dhaval, which organization you belong to, if you can name that, please?
So I'm from Sushil Financial Services.
Already, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great. Folks, we have 2 more minutes. Any final thoughts, questions? Dhaval, thanks for asking all those. That conversation was really insightful. I also learned few things. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Last 2 minutes, last 1 minute rather, before we end the call. If no, I think we can call it a day. Thank you so much. This recording will be available. So Priya, you can stop recording and then you can share the recording with all of us. Thank you so much all of you for your time.